The 166 is the latest car to join the Alfa Romeo range, and it completes a process of renewal that began in 1994. And the 166 is a flagship, and as becomes a flagship, it's big. Not that being big means it doesn't look good. To me it looks smart, like a bouncer in a very expensive dinner suit. These 16-inch alloy wheels help. They kind of fill out the arches and make it look big and mean and add to the image. But one of my initial impressions concerned the headlights, which to me at first glance look decidedly screwed up and small. But in the same way that if you say a word over and over again, gradually it changes its sound. If you look at a car lots and lots of times, gradually it starts to look different. And now when I look at these headlamps, I tend to see them integrated in with this rather neat grille unit as one unit. And it actually looks quite good and quite different. But there is one overriding and one most important feature about this car, and that's this, the badge. You see, what we have here is a large European car, and large European cars in this sector have traditionally been a complete flop. Witness Renault and their Safran and Peugeot and their 605. They certainly haven't sold in big numbers. Which means this car is going to go into the ring against some pretty heavyweight opposition. If we think about it, we've got BMW's 5 Series, we've got Audi's A6, and of course we are treading into serious Mercedes territory here. So what's it going to have that the others haven't? Well, it looks good, but then it could be said that so did the Peugeot and so did the Renault. It offers great value for money. For one thing, it's cheap to buy in the first instance, and then having done so, you get just about everything on it. But then so did the offerings from Peugeot and Renault. The one thing that it most definitely does have that they perhaps haven't got is that badge and that heritage. The people at Alfa are doubtless going to be hoping that the work they've put into the fantastic 156 and the warm response it received from all and sundry is going to pay off when it comes to the 166 and mean that people are going to be more than happy to buy Alfa. The image has always been right, the history, the heritage, the pedigree. Fact was, they used to fall apart. Well, the 156 shows no signs of doing that, and at first glance, neither does the 166. The exterior looks fantastic. Slide inside and it's absolutely beautiful in here. This is one of several trims available inside. It's called the sports trim, but it's indicative of the standard of all of them, and it's beautiful. Detailed touches abound. There's badges everywhere. There's beautiful stitching. It's very well put together, very comfortable, very practical, ergonomically very sensible. There's useful hatches, plenty of oddments storage. Then you've got to get on the move. Well, there's going to be 4 engines in total. At the bottom, but it's unfair to say that, is the 2-litre 4-cylinder twin spark. It's unfair because that's the classic engine in this standard of car and a classic engine from Alfa Romeo. There's then going to be that same engine with a turbo fitted, which will be an awful lot of fun. There's a 2.5-litre V6, there's a 3-litre V6, and ultimately there's going to be the 2.4-litre turbo diesel called the JTD, which will be absolute state-of-the-art. It'll be direct injection, common rail, everything going for it. And interestingly, both the diesel and the 3-litre V6 will be fitted with a 6-speed manual gearbox, which says a lot about the way Alfa are going to be marketing the diesel and the importance of that being seen as an increasingly sporting brand. What can beat the squeak of denim on leather? The leather in here is an optional extra, but given that the prices in the UK are expected to start at around about £23,000, the car is going to be priced very competitively against the opposition from Germany anyway. And for that £23,000, you do get electric windows front and rear, a fair amount of kit, including, most importantly, for me, the best gizmo of all, which is this screen. It's a kind of central unit that contains the controls for pretty much everything. Integrated control system, we've got our main and audio, we've got our air conditioning system controlled through here, we've got our navigation system, trip meter, climate control. It's actually quite clear and quite easy to use as well, which is pretty refreshing if you ask me. In the inevitable compromise between sports driving qualities and the comfort demanded by the company car driver, Alfa Romeo have definitely erred on the side of comfort, but that's to be expected. The 156 really is there to be the driver's car. Having said that, yes, there is a degree of body roll. Yes, if you push it through corners, it does start to lean a bit, but there's plenty of grip there, and it is very controlled body roll. It makes for quite a pleasant drive. There is a good compromise here. The rear suspension from the 156 is carried over onto this, the 166, so a multi-link rear suspension setup and a degree of pre-programmed oversteer. So if you lift off midway through a corner or midway around a roundabout, the car will turn in nicely, which makes for overall a pretty pleasant driving experience, and it makes for the best compromise really between being able to carry 4 people in comfort and style, and if you're out on your own, have a bit of fun as well, which if you've got an Alfa Romeo, you're going to want to do, aren't you?